Have you ever heard of the show Orel? It was like a darkly comedic stop-motion animation series that aired on Adult Swim in the mid-2000s. It followed the life of Orel Puppington, a devoutly religious boy living in the fictional town of Morrilton. The show was known for its satirical take on religion and suburban life. However, there's a rumor about a lost episode called Revival of Orel that never made it to air. The story around it is chilling, and some even claim it's cursed. I first heard about the lost episode on an old message board dedicated to Adult Swim shows. Someone posted a cryptic message about a VHS tape they found at a garage sale in the middle of nowhere. The tape had no label, just a piece of masking tape with Orel, the Revival, scrawled on it in black marker. Curious, the poster decided to watch it and share their experience online. Here's their story. I found the tape in a dusty box full of old cartoons and TV shows. Something about it felt off. But my curiosity got the better of me. I popped it into my old VHS player and settled it in to watch. The episode started like any other episode of Orel, with the familiar theme song and opening credits. But something was different. The colors were muted, and the animation seemed slightly off, as if it had been rushed or done by someone unfamiliar with the usual style. The episode began with Orel kneeling by his bed, praying. His voice was shaky, and there was a sense of desperation in his tone. He was praying for his father, Clay, who had fallen into a deep depression and was drinking heavily. The scene was eerily quiet, with no background music or ambient noise. Orel, dear Lord, please help my dad. I know he's been struggling, but I believe in your power to heal and revive him. Amen. The scene transitioned to Orel walking throughout the town of Morrilton, which looked more run down and desolate than usual. He visited various townsfolk, asking them to pray for his father, but everyone seemed indifferent or too wrapped up in their own problems to care. As the episode progressed, things took a darker turn. Orel's prayers became more frantic, and the animation grew more disoriented. Faces were warped, and the characters' movements were jerky and unnatural. Orel's voice was now accompanied by a low, droning hum that made my skin crawl. Orel, please, Lord, I'll do anything. Just bring my dad back to me. I miss him so much. Suddenly, the screen cut to static for a few seconds before fading back in. The scene showed Orel standing in front of his father, who was now lying on the floor, unconscious and surrounded by empty bottles. Orel's eyes were wide and hollow, his face contorted with fear and despair. Orel, Dad, please wake up. Please. The camera zoomed in on Clay's lifeless face, and for a moment, I thought I saw his eyes flicker open. But instead of the usual stop-motion animation, his eyes were hyper-realistic, bloodshot, and filled with pain. They stared directly into the camera, sending a shiver down my spine. Then, in a voice that was not his own, Clay spoke. Clay, Orel, you should have never prayed for this. Some things are better left untouched. Orel screamed and the screen cut to black. I could hear his sobbing in the background, accompanied by the same low hum that would have been present throughout the episode. The credits rolled, but instead of the usual cheerful music, there was only silence. The poster claimed they destroyed the tape after watching it, fearing it was cursed. They said they had experienced nightmares and unsettling visions ever since viewing the episode. Some who read the post dismissed it as a hoax, but others were convinced there was something more sinister at play. I've searched for any information on Revival of Orel, but I've found nothing official. Some fans believe it was an unfinished episode that was scrapped for being too dark, while others think it's just an urban legend. Either way, if you ever come across a mysterious VHS tape with that title, I'd advise against watching it. Some things are better left forgotten. Yeah, to be honest, I was keeping my expectations pretty low for this. I was kind of just morbidly curious if anyone had written a Orel Creepypasta, because I've been on quite the Adult Swim montage and marathon as of recent. It's a show I've come to quite love this year after watching it not too long ago. I kind of just wanted to see if anyone had written anything for it, and this was all that I could find. I won't claim that none exist other than this one, but this is the only one I could find. Not a great start. Everything described here is like almost what you would find in an episode. Like, Clay just kind of dies, and they actually say he has like hyper realistic eyes, which I don't think is that foreign for the show. Like, if you've ever seen the show, it can get weird in a lot of instances. So it's not scary. I don't even think the show was on VHS tape. I don't think. Don't quote me on that. But there's almost like no commentary I can add here. This was like 3 minutes long. There's not much commentary. It was on a very, very obscure like fandom creepypasta wiki that I had to go to like page 3 of Google, which feels like the Marianas Trench some of these days with how ridiculous Google is with its search engine. But not an especially interesting episode of Moral Orel, and not even an especially interesting interpretation of like an attempted revival. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, I guess the most logical explanation is that it's not a revival at all. It's some haunted video or someone just made that like as a gag. But like, if they were in Adult Swim and Danos like Stantonopoulos was like, okay, this is how I revive the series. I'm just gonna make a really bad episode that isn't funny and kind of scary, but like doesn't have most of the cast in it for some reason. Like, it's not even really believable as a lost episode. Like, I don't know. There's like a weird degradation effect. Like, people's faces go all kind of warped, and there's like weird audio issues, which really don't make it feel haunted, if that's what it was going for. It kind of just feels like it was an intentional creative choice, and they've done stuff like this before. Like, I'm pretty sure there's been multiple episodes where they don't have, like, any of the, like, the credits. They don't play the music. Like, it's really not that foreign. Like, all the scares described here, you can probably find in an episode, if not worse. I could probably name several moments from the show proper that are much more scary and, like, weirdly Silent Hill-like than whatever this creepypasta was going for. And you know what the scariest part of this story is? There wasn't even a single mention of Blaberta, like Orel's mom, which is crazy, because I'm just gonna say, okay? Clay does not know how to handle all that, and if I were living there, I would treat her much better than Clay does. That's all I'm saying. So if there was a moral Orel revival, Blaberta better hit me up, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, this one wasn't great. Kind of disappointing, and I suspect a lot of people feel the same way. But if they thought it was better than what I surmised, or even worse, or if there's more Adult Swim creepypastas, I've been a real binge of that as of recent. If you have any more to recommend, you can leave them down in the comment section below. But until then, have a lovely rest of your day.